Today I'll be doing what I think is the most exciting part of a branding project, which is, in my humble opinion, Mockups. The brand that we're going to be doing this for is my art shop, which is Studio Dreamscapes. It's all about connecting us with nature and our imaginations, and it's where I sell all my cute little trinkets and things that I make. In the last video, I designed the foundation for it, which includes the logo, color palette, all of the other core elements for the brand. If you're curious about that process, you should check out my last video. Today, we're just going to be focusing on applying it to different things and using that branding and seeing how it would translate to things like posters, packaging, merch, things like that, just so that we can bring the brand to life a little bit more. Okay, let's get into it. I was trying to imagine how my design studio would look if I had a physical location. It was a little bit idealistic, but I thought it would be cool to do a little wall decal glass window mock-up, and I found this mock-up here. This one is super straightforward, so I'm just gonna go into this layer here and delete what they have there and literally just drag in my current design. I found a little bit of a flaw in my previous branding. As much as I preached having logo variations, I did not have an actual inverted logo that I could put on anything, so I wanted to have a logo that wasn't just an outline or a darker color fill. This is what I'm talking about, like when you're building out mock-ups, it really helps you find like little holes in what you're doing and think about how it actually comes to life, because sometimes it just might look a little different than you expected. I'm just gonna bring this new design into the mock-up here and just press save on that layer and then go back to the main tab. It'll automatically plug it in for you, which is so nice, and I think it looks really good. Mock-ups are really great for helping your design really come to life. So if you're working with a client, trying to pitch them on an idea, or if you're just doing this for your portfolio, it's a really great way to show how the idea looks in other ways other than just the digital design. It can also help you find the little holes in your branding and your design that you may want to patch up. When I first started as a designer, I was pretty intimidated by mock-ups because I didn't really know how they would work. I didn't know where to find them. They're actually way easier than they look. Most of the time, they come with a layer in Photoshop where you can just click on it and insert your design, and it'll do all of the mocking up for you, which includes all the lighting and maybe warping it to fit the shape of whatever you're doing. Okay, I definitely want to have some posters here. I feel like that's kind of just a classic. Let's build out a set of 4 posters. I had a vision for these posters to be kind of alternating, one with a logo and then one with a really cool intricate collage, so that we can have both the design elements and these cool collage photo elements. I actually really like the simpler version of this logo that I used for the wall decal, and I liked the old logo, which was more colorful and had a lot more going on as just like piece of art. But when it comes to actually designing like the packaging and all these other elements, I think it just has like a little bit too much going on, and I think simplifying is the best way to go. Let's just pull in these elements without the thermal effect and see how it looks. I really want to go for symmetry with my collage. If you saw the last video with my sticker pack, I had this cool gradient on it with my brand colors, and as much as I really liked how it looked, I don't think it's gonna work for this brand, and as much as I loved it, it just wasn't really standing out outside of a sticker sheet. I'm gonna add in Dreamscapes at the top and the bottom and have the plants overlay it just a little bit, like overlap it on the top and the bottom, because I think that adds some cool depth and just another layer to the design. I've been really into these surreal landscapes. I think they're 3D rendered. I've been able to find them on Unsplash. I found this cool grass one, and I want the hill to be centered so it's symmetrical. I'm just gonna adjust the hue to match my brand colors a little bit more. I have this vision of the crystals coming out of the hill, like they're kind of growing out of it, and it's sort of this like surrealist vibe. I'm just gonna pull in some crystals. I want to add some depth here. If you haven't used Photoshop brushes before, they were pretty life-changing when I discovered them. I found a grass brush that I'm going to use to make these crystals look a little bit more realistic, like they're planted in the grass. I just downloaded it from Brush Easy. I've gotten a few different Photoshop brushes from them before, and when you download it, it'll just give you a little Photoshop brush file. It's a specific type of file. You double click it, it'll import it for you. It's super easy, and then you just go into your brush panel and you can scroll down and it'll be right there. And so for the grass brush, this is the one that I downloaded, and I'm just gonna make a layer mask of each crystal and use the brush on the layer mask so that I'm not erasing the crystal itself. This is the best way to preserve the original artwork in case you mess up. If you make a mistake and want to undo it, you can just delete the layer mask and do another one. I would definitely recommend working with layer masks if you're not super familiar. There's lots of tutorials out there, but that is by far the best way to make sure that you don't lose anything from your artwork. So basically, anything that's white is going to show and anything that's black is going to hide the layer. So I'm gonna go into the layer mask with my brush in black so that anytime that I use the grass brush, it's going to cover up that layer with the brush. This image that I'm working with of the hill is a perfect one for this because it already has that grass texture to it. I also found a moon brush. I get a little bit obsessive with the Photoshop brushes. I've also found a cloud brush, which I will use later in this video, I'm sure. Now I'm just gonna add a little bit of shading to all of it just to add a little bit more depth. All right, sweet, they look cute. Disclaimer, this is not a great example of a mock-up because I did hijack it. Instead of just finding a mock-up that was 4 posters and maybe paying a little bit for it, I decided to spend an hour recreating this one mock-up that I found for only 1 poster and making it possible for 4. There are some flaws with it. It doesn't work perfectly like a mock-up should, so just ignore that. There are definitely easier mock-ups out there that you can just insert your stuff here, no problem, and it'll do it all for you. But if you want to give yourself a headache like I did, you're more than welcome to alter existing mock-ups to fit your own needs. Okay, cute. I think that these look so good and I'm really excited about it. Let's move on. As far as sourcing mockups for your specific project, I would say try and be creative and think about how your product would come to life. So for example, if it was a restaurant brand, maybe you'd want to mock up a menu, maybe you'd want to mock up some cool cocktail napkins, maybe you'd want to show what the physical location would look like, so maybe signage out front. It's all going to depend on what kind of brand you're working with. As far as sourcing them goes, I think your best bet is probably going to be mockupworld.co or freepik.com for free mockups. If you're willing to pay a little bit more, I've heard really good things about Envato elements, but I haven't tried it for myself. I really want to do an animation of my alien mushroom guy blinking. I think it'd be really cool if I incorporated the one of him with red eyes and maybe a red cap too, and just went between the normal logo and then the slightly evil logo. And it would be cool if it changed when he was blinking. This is really easy, low-level animation. It is not difficult at all. So if you are not an animator, I'm not an animator, this is a really simple way to do something like that. I'm just gonna start in Illustrator and work with my vector files so that I can adjust his eyes. I'm just going frame by frame. So I'm gonna duplicate the last frame and adjust the next one to have him be blinking a little bit more. Then I'm going to work backwards and duplicate the frames that I already made in reverse order so that he's opening his eyes, and I'll change the color of all of those to the normal green. I'm gonna export my files and import them into Photoshop. If you haven't done an animation in Photoshop before, I would say it's probably not like the ideal place to animate, but for me, because this is such a simple animation, I can do it in Photoshop really quickly and easily. This is basically just like a stop motion animation. In Photoshop, it's super easy. You're just gonna go under Window in the top and then click Timeline, and this will show this bottom bar here. Once you've imported all your layers, you're gonna go where it says Create Video Timeline, press the down arrow and do Create Frame Animation, and then you're gonna go to the 3 bars in the corner of that panel and click Make Frames from Layers. It'll automatically create frames for all the layers that you've imported. I'm gonna duplicate the layers in reverse order again so that he's blinking and then blinking again, and then it'll start at the beginning frame and be a seamless loop. I also want the frames where his eyes are open to be a little bit longer, just so it looks like there's a pause between his blinking. So we're just gonna make those 1 or 2 seconds. Let's export this as a GIF So I'm gonna do the save for web and select GIF, and because I know that my art is only 3 colors, I don't need to have 128 colors or whatever. I'm just gonna do 8 because there was some fuzziness around the edges, so I think 8 should be sufficient instead of 4. And here's the final animation. Amazing. It's so cute. I'm obsessed with it. Let's make some hoodies. I found this mock-up and it was supposed to work with a plugin, but the plugin wasn't working for me. Once again, I'm going to hijack this mock-up just a little bit. I'm just gonna change the color of this hoodie to match my cream color. I cut out this mock-up so that it's just a silhouette with no background. I'm just gonna pull in my logo. Oh my god, don't look. So disorganized in here. And this is a relatively flat area on the hoodie, so I don't think that it needs to be warped. I'm just gonna adjust the blending mode of it. I think usually overlay is one of your best bets when it comes to mock-ups because it'll bring in the texture of the image below it. It'll still maintain most of that color. And then I turn the opacity down usually to like anywhere between 70 to 90. I found this other version of the same mock-up essentially. I'm just gonna take my collage that I made for the posters and put it on the back of it. I am going to warp it slightly just so that it looks like it fits the shape of the hoodie. Then I'm just gonna make a new document and I want them to be a little bit staggered. I like one in the back and one in the front so it shows off the cooler design on the back a little bit more. I think it'd be so cool to be able to mock this up in like Blender or something and make it 3D and make it rotate. But unfortunately I don't know how to do Blender and I've tried once or twice. I've downloaded it and watched like one tutorial video on it and immediately gotten a headache. I will say that most people I know who have learned Blender have either taken 40 hours of their time or sold their soul. Definitely not the easiest software to learn, and that's why I haven't done it yet, so. I'm going to take a minute to update the sticker pack from last time. Here's the updated sticker pack, and now we can use that across our other designs as well. Let's do a new version of the packaging. In the last video, I created the packaging with the outdated sticker pack, and I thought it looked cool, but I think that I want to do something a little bit more on brand, leaning into the simple logo a little bit more. I'm just going to go into the paper lining layer and add in these repeating aliens. And I'm just gonna mess around with the colors here. Let's work on this sticker. I want it to be red, maybe like an inverse of the pattern. And for the sides of the box, I just want it to say Dreamscapes. Let's do the other side with the logo and just see how that looks. I don't know. I'm gonna change the color of the box and just mess around with that. This is just a lot of back and forth and seeing what works and messing around with different elements that I already have just to see how they all fit in here together. I'm liking that the most, I think. So let's stick with this. Cute. Lip balm break. I like to collect matchbooks. Usually I get them from restaurants and stuff, so I don't know if this is like that relevant, but I feel like it would be cool for a design studio to have their own set of matches. I just think that would be super unique. Let's do a matchbook, because I can. This one is a really easy mock-up. Basically, I just have to fill in the different colors and then the front and the inside of the front. I'm gonna bring in some of the stickers from my sticker sheet, and so I'm just gonna bring all these elements in here and rearrange them until they meet my liking. I was thinking maybe we can put some copy on the inside. Maybe we could pull one of our phrases from the business card I designed before, inspired by nature's beauty and the limitless realms of our imagination, just so we can bring that phrase and brand purpose back into some of these things. I also want to add in my logo just so it has a little bit more branding on it. I think it looks good in the bottom corner. Okay, obsessed. I love that. I also wanted to do some kind of interface, so I was thinking we could mock up some social posts or social stories. Again, I'm just gonna pull in this copy and try and pull in these elements from the sticker sheet again. Let's just take a minute to see what we can get. I was thinking maybe the third story could actually be a call to action slide. And so the first two are kind of like inspiring, pique your curiosity, and then the third one just has a shop now button. I actually think let's pull in the collage here. It might work a little bit better just to simplify, and I really like how it all works together. This is the copy that I came up with. I am not a copywriter, you guys, and the number of times I'm asked to do it for my job is astounding. You know, I'll take a stab at it, but I am not a copywriter. Here we are, like I said, with the cloud brush. What can I say? Let's just add in some stuff here. Let's rearrange them and pull in the logo at the top and make it really big. Let's plug in some static posts first. I'm just using a few different posts of the product. I have my holographic stickers and of course my mushroom necklace, which you can find in the art shop. Don't tell anyone, but if you want, you can use the code YouTube10 for 10% off your order. For the static post, I wanted to have more of my actual shop products, and I wanted it to be more like UGC photos, and UGC stands for user generated content. So it's anything that looks like someone just took a photo of the product on their phone, so it doesn't look like a huge branded photo shoot. And I think that kind of content performs really well in general compared to more polished content on social. So I'm gonna inject a little social strategy in here. Let's just plug in the rest of these stories too. I had to kind of finesse it a little bit, and I'm realizing now that I forgot the profile photo and the profile name. But we're just gonna ignore that. Okay, let's swap that other photo because I realized I have like the green landscape in both of them. Let's just hijack this mock-up a little bit more to make it exactly how I want it, and swap these two stories again so that Shop Now is at the forefront. And yeah, here's the final mock-up. And I actually think that the simple design of the stories works really well with the static posts. I thought it would also be cool to do a matching store sign to go with the wall decal, and I kind of want it to look like it's glowing, like it's a lit up sign, and this mock-up doesn't already have that, but I'm gonna add some stuff to make it look like it. I originally used these illustrations because they fit the square, but I think let's just keep it with the actual alien. First, I'm gonna adjust the lighting just to make it a little bit brighter, and then I'm gonna take just the plain green alien that I used in the packaging. I'm gonna double click the layer and go under outer glow and just add a light outer glow just using white, and basically that's just gonna make it look like it's lit up. Let me just adjust the lighting one more time, and sweet, here's the finished sign. For the final mock-up, I want to actually mock up my holographic stickers. These are the actual stickers, and I'm so obsessed with how they came out, and I thought it would be cool to mock them up on a water bottle. I am really not setting a good example because once again, I hijacked this mock-up so it doesn't work how it's supposed to. I still kept the actual mock-up layer from the other one. It's gonna warp the stickers for me to fit the water bottle, and I kind of stretched it to fit, but let's stretch it back so that my stickers don't look really warped. I did not remember to bring the lighting over, and I'm just gonna add my own shadows and highlights here and adjust it so that they look like they actually are on this water bottle. And then I'm gonna fix the background a little bit. Don't look. And yeah, here's the final water bottle. The stickers look adorable on it. If you want to get some of your own, these are in my shop. The link is in the description. You can also get this little mushroom necklace and a few other little trinkets that I've been making. Here are all the mock-ups that I made today kind of in one spot. I think that they all tie in really well together. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up in the comments and I will be happy to answer. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more similar content. I really want to do more brand design videos in the future. I do vlogs for my art shop. If you just want to chat and say hello, I'm super down to just chit chat. I'm always down for a little trade and barter. That is all for today, and there will be more to come in the future. Check out the art shop if you're interested. The link is in the description, and once again, that's YouTube10 for a 10% discount. But yeah, I will see you in the next one.